Hey guys, Philly Pipe Smoker here, coming at you after maybe a 6-week hiatus. Things have been crazy busy. The weather's finally turning nice here in eastern Pennsylvania. And today it's about 82. It's about time. But I'd like to have 70s for a couple of months, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Got to spend a little time in Nashville last week. Down there for work. Going out to Cleveland soon, Atlanta. Spent 4 days in Florida a couple weeks ago on a conference. So I've been out and about, kind of busy. Haven't been very active on YouTube at all. Smoking today my 7LE Alligator. And there's a reason for that. Like you really had to know. All right. Well, my New Year's resolution went really well this year so far. I guess I lasted about almost a full quarter, a little over 3 months. I still really haven't bought many things, but I did buy myself a couple of pipes. A new tripod gadget to hold the iPhone for video taping. I do a lot of photography work as well, and the easiest thing for me to do when obviously you can scan old photographs, but I prefer to take a photograph of an old photograph and I can manipulate it better. So the tripod actually enables me to hold it still and get the angle I want and get the lighting set up properly. So it's a real small tripod. I guess unextended it's about 14 inches, and extended it probably goes to 3 feet, 4 feet. It's way too flimsy to go up that high. It just would wobble all around. But for doing this stuff, it's great. Came with a little mount for the iPhone to clip in. Bought it off eBay. I think I spent 14 bucks. Ordered it last December, and it came in about a month ago. So it was on a very slow boat from China. All right, let's get to a couple of... oh, and the neat thing that came with it as well is a little key fob to turn the video on and off. So you don't see my finger doing this, turning it off. So an awful lot of things have happened since the last video. We had obviously all the riots in Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York. I'm not going to get into this politically. I will only say this. Well, I'll say two things. The protesters didn't have any ill effect on Baltimore at all. However, the rioters, I'll bet you if you tracked it for the next 2 years, I bet you the rioters will cost the city of Baltimore $100 million. I'm not only talking about the direct property damage, the fact that businesses won't rebuild. If I had a business, I wouldn't rebuild there. Whether you have insurance or not. Some of them didn't have insurance because they're small businesses. They couldn't afford it. But you have all the lost revenue. My daughter's university holds their annual senior dinner down there every year in Baltimore. They canceled this year. It was supposed to be, I guess, a week and a half after the riots. They canceled it, moved it somewhere else. You have all the conventions that will no longer come into town for fear of this rioting, at least in the short term. Baltimore, from this area, is a big draw for people going down. They have an aquarium. It's been there for years. They have a beautiful waterfront, probably one of the first areas on the East Coast, other than New York City, that developed the waterfront and made it really nice. A lot of restaurants, and You can walk down there at night, just walk around the boardwalk area, go in the shops and restaurants and bars. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful. You see all the ships in the harbor. Though that, I'll bet you right now that business has been cut in half, if not more. Yeah, people. The Camden Yards is one of the first stadiums built, if not the first retro stadium. It kind of goes back and made it look like it did back in the 20s and 30s, with modern conveniences and facilities. Obviously, you know the first baseball game ever played without fans. I think it was the third or fourth night after the rioting, or when the rioting was still going on. But people used to come in from all around the country to go there and see their team play the Baltimore Orioles. And I don't know, I'll bet you attendance will be down 20–30% this year. Not to mention all the people, when they canceled the games and they didn't have fans, you had all the vendors that lost money, the parking that lost money, all the small businesses, the restaurants in the area that would have, the hotels that would have benefited from having the game go off as normal. And I said I wasn't going to get political, but that mayor is an absolute idiot. That's all I'm going to tell you. One of my new acquisitions is something maybe the rioters should think about. And certainly these people that are now dancing on the American flag in videos. A new Zippo pipe lighter. Freedom isn't free. I got that pipe lighter for about 50% of what it would go for new on an auction. And the next two items I'm going to show you, both pipes, I got for substantially less than they would go for new on an auction. There was no minimum bid, at least, or if there was, we met the minimum bid. But I saved 50% on both of these pipes. One is a pipe series that I've been looking at for years. Just never pulled the trigger on one. And I saw one of the YouTubers, and I think it was a bulldog he purchased, a Sherlock Holmes series bulldog. I think it was the last calendar. So here's my new pipe. It's a Peterson, obviously. Sherlock Holmes series. I don't know if you can see. Let's see what it is here. It is Sherlock Holmes Baskerville. And I just love the thick stem right in here and shank. I mean, look at that thing. It's so ugly, it's pretty. Some nice bird's eye. I've only smoked it a couple times. P-lip, which I've actually had on most of my Petersons. Sterling silver band. Just a gorgeous pipe. Really light too for the size of the pipe, which is amazing. Before I reveal my second pipe, I just wanted to say my Apple account was hacked. I woke up one morning and to a series of messages saying that I needed to log into my FaceTime, Apple account, email account, just everything that takes a password with Apple. I had to re-log in, and when I tried, it didn't work. So I restarted the phone, figured maybe it was just a glitch. That happens sometimes. And checked through my messages. I wasn't getting any more messages, but I had one that Apple sent me that it must be done immediately when you log on to change a password. It sent me an email that said that your password has been changed, and if you didn't do this, please log on to this website and change it back, or change it to whatever, change your password again. So this happened to my daughter when she was in college, and what she was doing is there's two options. You can go on and have them send you an email confirmation, and then you change it. But if I did that, the person who hacked into my account would be getting that email, and then they can just turn around and reverse it again, which happened to her. So there's some security questions that you set up in advance, and I went through that and reset it, and I guess it's been about 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it's been okay. It was somebody in California, because the last I guess it was about 8:11 p.m., which would be 11:11 p.m. my time. Somebody had changed the password. So consequently, though, I guess maybe to do some funny, dirty work, they erased all my emails. Thankfully, they couldn't get to my contacts and everything because they're on here. But so I lost all my emails. They deleted them from the server. They did all that stuff. So if you've sent me a comment and I didn't respond, I apologize. I respond to every single comment. It's just I didn't get it. I lost it because I did have some in queue that I just haven't had did not have a chance to answer before it was erased, because I don't go on every night. But so the other thing I could do obviously is go through all my videos and check and see what comments I haven't been replied to, and frankly I can't stand the sight of myself enough to do that, so I apologize. Box. I opened it, but I have not looked at it. It is an unsmoked Savinelli 1987 pipe of the year. New, these pipes are anywhere between $300 and $700 depending upon the finish, maybe even a little bit more than that. I paid a fraction of that. Here's the inside of this pouch. A couple of balsa wood filters. So it's intact. It's just he took it apart so it wouldn't break on the way. Excuse me while I put it together. It's a much bigger pipe than I thought it was going to be, which is good. And there she is. Beveled top. Beautiful sandblast. I'll tell you what, this sandblast reminds me a lot of a Dunhill. In fact, I think it's a lot different than the sandblast they do today, Savinelli. Little plaque on top. Signature on the stem. I guess they call it the autograph. Nice deep bowl. Look at the size of that bowl. Light as a feather. Bent Dublin. Kind of a unique, let me show you the stamping on the bottom if it comes out. It's a standard oval shaped bottom, but then has crisp lines that run this way and then around on the other side. Just a neat pipe. Now the question is, do I smoke it? Usually I don't buy pipes for investments, if there is such a thing. Although I will say 4 or 5 years ago, if I had bought a bunch of used Dunhills, they doubled in price in the last 4 or 5 years. The new Dunhills are just crazy. $500, $600, $700, $800. That's nuts. For the same pipe, you could have bought new 4 years ago for $400. That's nuts. Supply and demand. Even has the little bit of a fishtail. Like the Dunhills have. There she is, guys. Unsmoked 1987 Pipe of the Year from Savinelli. Very nice. That's really all I have for you today. Hope everybody's well. Hope the weather stays nice. Oh, one more thing before I go. We did some research, and we haven't had a dog in a long time, and we decided to put a deposit on a litter that was upcoming on a chocolate lab from a breeder in Pennsylvania. The litter was to be born April 29th, and we received word yesterday. Unfortunately, the mother had an emergency. They did an emergency C-section, and they lost all the puppies. So the good news is they had a yellow lab litter coming that's supposed to be due, I think, the end of this week or beginning of next week. And so we've switched our deposit to one of the yellow labs coming up. So hopefully in about 8 or 9 weeks we'll have a new puppy in the house, and certainly get her on camera for you. All right, guys, that's it. Have a good day. Nice weekend coming up here shortly, and all the best.